What's up everybody? In today's video, we're gonna get this pimp installed into the Fox body. We're just gonna be going over all the wiring and all the installation things that has to go into it with the wideband sensor, with the expansion harness, and just getting everything set up. And at the beginning of the video, I wasn't gonna do the LS coils, and then as the video progressed, we're doing LS coils. So that is part of the video now too, is getting the LS coils ready and mounted and ready to go. So that's gonna be this video, and I hope you enjoy it, so let's get right into it. Okay, so now it's time to put the pimp inside the car. And so for me, I had the MSPMP2 in here, and so I reloaded the stock tune onto it, or the file that that DIY auto tune sends with you, which is kind of a crap tune, not gonna lie, but I put it on there. We're gonna take it out and get the pimp in there. So first thing I'm gonna do is unplug the battery so I don't mess anything up, and then we're gonna just start tearing the interior apart. So let's go for it. Okay, so we got both the ECUs out. This is good to go. It just needs to go into the car. I wanted to show you guys too that I bought their expansion harness, and I bought the expansion harness for, oh my goodness, there's a lot of stuff in here. I bought the expansion harness for LS coils, because we are gonna be putting those truck coils on the car, but we're not gonna do it right now. We're just gonna get the car running with a distributor, and we're gonna call it good. That's a lot of wires. It looked cool when I got it in the mail, but now I'm looking at it. I taped them up, just the couple that I need. Okay, so we have the flex fuel sensor that we're gonna be using. This is spare ADC, which we're gonna hook up. I'm gonna put a fuel pressure sensor on the car, so we're gonna use that later on. And then we have our can high and our can low, because I did buy a perfect tuning gauge to hook up so I can just see everything on that little gauge in real time and not have to have a digital dash or wire in a bunch of gauges. I just have one gauge that can do everything. Two things that are important tonight are pinning in this Turbo Boost and wiring in the flex fuel sensor into the expansion harness, and then all we're gonna do is twist this thing up in a neat fashion and hide it underneath the floorboard of the car, because holy crap, it looks so much smaller in my head. So in typical fashion, I confused myself, didn't know what to do, and ended up reading a bunch of forums for like an hour. So on Stereo Performance, they say it very clearly, pin 31 is the pin you need to ground to for your boost solenoid. Easy enough. I get to pin 31, there's a pin in it. I thought it would have been open. It's not open. So there is a pin in 31, and all you gotta do is cut this gray and yellow wire right there. I swear I'm not flipping you guys off. And all you gotta do is cut that wire and splice your boost wire into it, and you're good to go, and it's pin 31. So what that pin is actually for your EGR, or one of your canister purge valves for the not evap. It is evap. I don't know. It's for your smog crap. That's all I know. So you just cut into it. It's not going to affect anything. Just put your pin in there and you're good to go. So I just thought I would say that real quick because I confused myself way too much for one stupid little thing. All right, so there's the pimp. It is plugged in, and there is vacuum ran to it, but it's not done. I just was messing with some stuff. That hose they give you is kind of small, so it wasn't fitting over my boost gauge fitting, so I'm going to have to figure that out later. That's a whole other headache I don't want to think about right now. Besides that, this wiring is just the expansion harness. I just laid it out to see what was going on with it. It looks a lot worse than what it actually is. So I was thinking about it, and I can plug it into the pimp and run it underneath the dash over to the other side, and then have it come out where the steering column, where that rubber is right there, and I don't know, do something to make it seal good. But then when it comes out over there on the firewall, it'll be closer to the cam angle sensor, and it'll be closer to the K-member, so I think it'll work out a little bit better. Stinger did an awesome job giving me a ton of wire to work with, but all that wire, there's a lot of wire, like there's a lot of wire. So I gotta like kind of figure out how I'm gonna place everything and make it work, but it's great. I'm really happy they did that, because it more than I could ever ask for. I'm not gonna run out of wire. It's good. So I'm very happy with how much wire I'd rather have more than less. I can always cut some off, so I'm not worried about it. Very happy with that. I've had some problems with other companies that they don't give me enough wire and then I'm screwed and my life's real hard. So very happy with that. It's going good so far. It is plugged in, the boost is wired in, and then the flex, I have it set up to be wired in. It just needs to plug in now. And so we gotta wire in that wideband, and we gotta set up our perfect tuning gauge. So there's a couple of things we gotta do. We'll get them done. But we got a lot done tonight, even though it didn't. No, we did get it. I'm sticking with it. We got a lot done tonight. So I will see you guys next time I'm working on this, probably tomorrow, and we'll get more done.
4 to 6 more days later.
So I took a little break. It's been like a week since I last filmed. I got really invested in trying to make everything work, and then I just got into it. You know, work and life and stupidness came into play. But I'm here to show you what I got done, and then we got some more stuff to do. So as you saw, I had that whole harness laid out on the dash. That is now tucked up underneath, and it's in a good spot. So we're gonna look at it in a second. You know, I'm just getting ahead of myself. Okay, so yeah, see the expansion harness? So remember, it was up here, it wasn't plugged in. So I got it in the slot and then up and around and back over, and it actually goes through one of the grommets back in there, and you can't even see it. And then the rest of the wires are hiding behind that kick panel, and all the rest of the expansion wires that aren't part of the coil on plug part. So that's all in there. And then we got a new vacuum line ran to this thing, which, you know, it's just stuff that isn't really special, but I had to do it to make it work. Oh, the other thing is, so I got the perfect tuning gauge that shows all this different kind of crap from the Mega Squirt. It runs off like the CAN communications, and so I wired that in, and it works. And yeah, so that pretty much takes care of this. There's not really too much to talk about, except it just took forever to wire it around and get it up underneath and go under there and then come out over there. It was a lot of effort. And then running the new vacuum lines and blah, blah, blah. Like, I could have filmed it and I should have filmed it, but it was just so much boring, monotonous stuff. I didn't want to drag you guys through that, so I'm just going to show you what I did. So you can see the expansion harness goes up. I haven't got my zip ties out yet, but it comes up and goes through one of the firewall grommets. And then you can see the rest of the expansion harness comes in and tucks behind here. And it's just like loosely put in right now. I still haven't, like I said, zip tied everything up. But then I was able to connect the perfect tuning gauge on CAN H and CAN L, and you can see some of the wires back in there that I used. So everything in here is ready to go now. Okay, so this is where everything gets special, and we're not done. We got stuff to do. First, I want to show you the wideband, because the wideband actually is kind of tricky with the way you have to wire it, and I intentionally left it like unloomed and all this stuff so I could show you what I wired into. So Stinger Performance guys tell you how to wire your wideband into the factory O2 harness. So, I mean, this is the Spartan 2, and then this is the factory harness, and you can cut it off right at the O2 sensor, but I cut mine off like right near the pigtail, as you can see, and so these two wires are not used. And so what I did is this yellow and gray wire, so this is power, so then it goes to the power wire on the Spartan 2, and then it has a 5 amp fuse in it. Okay, and so then this wire, it's green and purple, it's kind of hard to see, but green and purple, and it connects to the green wire on the Spartan 2. And so that's your signal wire. And so this, it's black and light green. You can just barely see that light green on here. But that is, so there's a heater ground and the sensor ground. You can just ground both of them into this wire. So that's how that's all wired up. So the O2 sensor is ready to rock and roll. Actually, I'm going to loom it right now because I only left it like this so I could show you guys, because it's freaking me out all laid on the side of the car and stuff. So, but it got rid of some wires in here, even though don't look at that, it's just ugly. Everything else in here is working, and so yeah, like I said, I'm going to loom those wires up. I'm going to show you what they do. So actually, let me fix this first. It's freaking me out. Okay, that's much better. Makes me feel better about my life. All right, let's go over there. All right, so let's talk about all these wires and what's going on with them right now, because it's kind of, there's a lot. Okay, so let's just start here. This goes to the head of the engine. So one of the sides of the heads, it's a ground, easy. This red wire, this comes out and hooks to the positive side of the battery, so I gotta put a ring terminal on it. The orange wire is keyed 12 volt, and it actually is supposed to connect to the positive side of the, or not the coil, but the wires to the coil. So that red wire, this is supposed to connect to that with like a spade connector. This is my tack out wire from my MS3. This is actually supposed to connect to those two wires with a spade connector. We're gonna get those wired up with different connectors and make sure they can fit onto here, but just leave them off to the side because we will be doing this later. So we're gonna route this up and around the brake booster and then come in and do that. All right, and so then this has my shielded VR1 and VR2 wires on it. So this actually connects to my cam sensor that's gonna go where the distributor is. It's just something that bolts right on top of it. But so all I gotta do is put some loom on it, and then I'm going to wire it up and around here just so it can connect back up in there. So that's all this wire does. All right, and so this wire, and then this wire, so this has all the coil signals on it. I mean, you can kind of see it's like, yeah, coil 2, coil 3, has all the different wires on it. And so this plugs into the LS coil expansion harness. So does this triangular one. They both plug into that. So let me show you. So this is the LS coil expansion harness, and so these are the two connections it has to go to. And so all that this expansion harness has is the two things that plug into the LS coils, and then a ground that grounds to the heads. And that's all this wire does. So we will be looming this and just having it ready to plug in. And then here are the LS coils. So I'm trying to find a good place to mount these things on the original K-member down below the car, and I've seen someone else do it. I'll put a picture of it, and in case I didn't finish it in this video, hopefully I did. And so that's how I'm going to mount it. And so there's one more wire on the expansion harness, this ground wire that connects to case ground, which is right back there, pin 20, case ground, which is right there, right next to the ECU. It's not the same as the ground that's right next to the battery. It is just case ground. So that's that. Get to wiring and looming some wires. It's my favorite thing to do. My favorite. Okay, and so what we just got done is I loomed this. So this was the 12 volt or the power wire that went to the battery, and so I have it so it just will hook up to the side of the power cable and it'll just hook on right there. So that worked out. I wasn't too sure I was going to do this going into it. And then this, I got my 12 volt to 12 volt with the spade connector, and then I got my tack out to tack out. And so I just got to put some lube on it and it'll be done. So in the Pimp XS, the coil on plug, whatever startup thing, it says to try that way first and change a couple settings in your controller. Go for it and see if it works. If the tack doesn't work, then you have to actually, and I'll explain this better later because I couldn't get my head around it and it took me a while, but I finally figured it out, and hopefully I'm going to do it right too. But you use a relay and you use the coil windings of the relay to act as a coil and trick it and give it this intrinsic spike, and so the tack will start working inside the car. So I'll have to do that if it doesn't work this way. You know, we're gonna give this a shot first, see if it is, but you know, we're just getting it wired up so it will work later on. So, you know, whatever. Oh my goodness, I get so involved when I start wiring. I don't think about anything else, and it's so boring to watch on video. I was able to hide these wires really well. All right, so it's kind of dark, but remember how all the wires were coming out right there? Okay, so it's up close, but this is the best I can do. So I have all the wires coming out of the grommet up there. So then I put a little P-clamp right there, and these are the two wires that plug into the LS coil harness. So then I mounted them here, right above the factory K-member, and then they run along the K-member in front of the oil pan, and then up to there, and then you can see where the other one would plug in when it gets that time. Wait, I'm blinded. So then we'll mount those LS coils right there, I just got to get some like little nylon spacers or something because they don't sit flat, so I got to figure something out. But they do fit down there. How about that? So you can see that one's waiting to get plugged in. They wrap around, so it all is tucked up under nice. All right, so then the 2 ground wires ground to each side of the head, and they are tucked up nicely, so it goes over the transmission, and that one just goes straight up to the head. So, and it's all clear in the steering shaft. Oh, so that was a lot of wiring. This whole video, there was a lot of wiring, but it's all set up now. So all we gotta do is plug those coils in and do that stuff. Oh, let me show you the cam angle sensor. I don't know if we talked about that enough. There's the cam angle sensor. I got it loomed up, all nice with the missing tooth wheel. So I just got to mount those coils where I was showing you and it'll be good to go. But that'll be in the next video because I exhausted myself. I spent all day tucking wires and making things look pretty. So we'll get the rest of it, and the next one will be firing it up with the LS coils, mounting them, firing up, not in that order. I'm getting way ahead of myself, but that'll be the next video, and we're gonna get this thing going and run it smooth. I'm very excited. So I've been wanting these coil. I can tell my coil, my like stock coil with 150,000 miles on it is very weak and is not doing a very good job anymore. It's really old, so you know this will be nice. It'll burn the mixture a lot better. Let's just say that. So, but this is the end of the video. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for bearing with me. I will catch you on the next one. And if you liked the video, you found some kind of value. I don't know. You know what? If you found value, I don't know what. You know, if you liked it, like it. And if you want to see more of Fast Mustang stuff, like it's not. I'm contradicting myself. It'll be fast real soon. Subscribe and comment if you have questions. You want to see something else? I'll make that video. So I'll catch you guys on the next video.